In Flight to Learn Lesson 1, I use a Cessna C172 in clear daytime conditions to learn the basics of explain flight. I start by pressing P to pause the sim, down arrow to look down, push the throttle to full and flaps up down to 20 degrees, up arrow to look back up, and pressing P to unpause and B to release the wheel brake. I then click the plus at the center of my screen to control my aircraft with my mouse. At approximately 75 knots, the plane took off, and I used Q and E to look left and right, pressing Shift A to get an exterior view of the aircraft, and doing the same again. I paused and set my location to 3 nautical miles from the airport. After loading, I unpaused, pointed the aircraft's nose down for 4 seconds before pausing again to read the airspeed indicator, attitude indicator, and altimeter, before unpausing, pointing the nose up for 4 seconds, and reading the same instruments again. In Flight to Learn Lesson 2, I use a Cessna C172 in clear daytime conditions to test weight versus takeoff distance. I load the Cessna with its standard load of 296 pounds, then 600 pounds overweight, and finally 900 pounds extremely overweight. We take off with these loads 3 times and record the true velocity in miles per hour and takeoff distance in feet, then find the average takeoff distance for each load. In ascending order, I got a load of 994 feet, 1591 feet, and then finally 2162 feet. I then changed the planet mass to 0.660, the mass of the moon, changed the gravity to 1.6225, the times of Earth, keeping the aircraft loaded at 900 pounds. I measured the takeoff distance, which was 57.62 feet, with 18.47 mile per hour takeoff speed, which compared to the Earth's mass was significantly lower. In Flight to Learn Lesson 3, we use a Cessna C172 during clear daytime conditions 3 nautical miles from Seattle International to test stall versus airspeed by putting myself into a stall and recovering, answering questions about the different stages of the stall on my handout. In Flight to Learn Lesson 4, we use the King Air C90B to test drag versus landing gear, checking speed before and after the landing gear was deployed, drag versus flaps up, and drags versus flaps down, noting and finding the average true airspeed, wing lift, and drag using 3 separate attempts, and also answering questions on the handout provided. In Flight to Learn Lesson 5, I use a Cessna C172 to land at Seattle International during clear daytime conditions, once with and without flaps, approaching 3 nautical miles from the runway. I start by reducing speed and altitude until reaching one runway, where I activate the brakes before landing and bring the aircraft to a halt. Then, using the Cessna 172, I land on an aircraft carrier during the day and night with clear conditions and during the night with stormy conditions. I approach the carrier, reducing my speed and deploying my tail hook with Alt-Q before killing the engine and engaging my brakes as I hit the deck of the aircraft carrier. I did the same at night, using Shift-N to engage my night vision.